He's doing everything.
Yeah, he's all right. We are live. Let me get live in Facebook.
Awesome.
We are live on YouTube. This is the first time we're going to be live on YouTube, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, hopefully it's not the last, but let's do it.
Well, it already went live on YouTube, so it's already looking better than how Facebook goes.
Great.
All right, let me hit the go live button here on Facebook, and we should be good to go. Manual start.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for joining.
Happy to be here. Yeah, it's Friday. It's a great day. I don't know where you're based, but I'm in Orange County, and it's beautiful out.
Yeah, I am based out of South Dakota. And then I travel to and fro California to work on project with Tim and Sean. And then work on the ad leak stuff. But we are live. We're live on Facebook and ad leakers. We are live on YouTube as well. That is a first. So today I have Chase Dimond with me. He is the co-founder of Boundless Labs, which primarily focuses on e-commerce, email marketing, and CBD company growth. Thanks for joining with us, Chase.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here. How are you?
Good. Chase, this is the first time I've actually ever talked to Chase. Chase came highly recommended by one of the co-founders of AdLeaks, Sean Brown. A little bit more. So you've known Sean for about 2 years now?
Yeah, a couple of years.
Okay.
Yep. Got him through Nick.
Awesome. Nick's a great guy.
Yeah, he really is. He's the man.
So we'll wait for a couple people to get on here, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Awesome.
What's the weather like in Orange County today?
I actually haven't been outside, but it's sunny, nice. It's been colder in the mornings, and I say that, being from California, wherever else is freezing, but it's been like 40s or 50s in the mornings lately, which is cold for us. Probably in the 10s or 20s for you?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cold for sure. We got a couple feet of snow on the ground and
crazy.
Somebody said I'm blurry. I'm on hardwired connection and my speeds are 100 megabytes, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to do anything about that. Chase is a lot better looking than me anyway, so you don't want to look at me.
You're clear from my eyes, so I'm
clear on mine. It might be the other person's connection, but very well could be. All right, so we have about 9-10 people in here. We'll go ahead and get started. I don't even know who this is messaging me. It's like a foreign number. Oh, okay. Lars, I'm on hard connection. I don't know why it wouldn't be clear. No idea. I'm hardwired, see? All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the one thing that I was checking out a little bit about you and doing a little bit of research, and I'm kind of interested to find a little bit more about this, but on your guys' website, boundlesslabs.io, it says that you own and run GaryVaynerchuk.com.
Yeah, that's something we get a lot. So Gary's name is actually spelled a little bit differently. He doesn't have that last C at the Chuck at the end. Everyone thinks he does. So I bought that domain in an auction because all of the reporters, all the media companies, everyone types in that name into Google. He's getting a ton of backlinks. So I bought that domain, and I've actually tried hitting him up like a bunch of times, just saying like, Gary, I want to give you this domain. I just want a conversation with you. Like, come on. And he hasn't responded. So it's funny. It gets a lot of backlinks. It was something interesting. I spent like a Saturday for 4 hours bidding this thing up, and I think I paid like $400 for it. So
really, I saw that and I was like, holy shit, this guy owns, like, okay, he must work with Gary. I didn't even know. I didn't realize the spelling was wrong.
No one does. That's the great part. So I probably had this conversation at least 2 or 3 times a day.
That's funny. All right. Well, actually, one of the people in here, the founder of Ad Zombies, is really good friends with Gary. Do you know? I don't know why I'm having a freaking blank right now.
My goal is to give Gary the domain in exchange for like a meeting or a podcast interview or something, right? Like I don't even need to sell it to him. I've been emailing him and tweeting at him like, Gary, I got a domain that's different than your name, but a lot of people think it's yours. Like, let me give this to you.
I'll hook you up with somebody that knows him pretty well. Maybe they can. Afterwards, I'll do a direct message with one of his friends that can probably
awesome.
put you right in touch with him.
We might have to have another conversation after if anything happens with that. That'd be really interesting.
That's funny. It fooled me. I put it in the thing because I thought it was real. I was like, wow, this guy does scary stuff. So
yeah. Apologies about that.
Oh gosh. Okay, somebody keeps calling me on Messenger. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I think we have quite a few people in here. We have about 13. So if you guys have any questions in relation to email or anything CBD, go ahead and drop all of your stuff down in the comments, and we'll get to the questions at the end. So go ahead and just feel free to start dropping them in. We'll kind of cover them as we go along. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Boundless Labs? How long you guys have been around, when you got started, all that kind of stuff?
Awesome. Yeah, so Boundless Labs has been around for just shy of 2 years. We've been around for about 20 months. And today we work with 30 e-commerce clients. So our brands range from 6 figures to kind of 8 figures in annual revenue. And typically the email work that we do accounts for about, a quarter to a third of their total revenue, right? So it's pretty significant. So most of our brands that have been with us for about 6 months are doing, 25 to 30% of their revenue from email, which is really great. I mean, that allows these people to have so much more money to invest back into the top of the funnel. And I know that's what really your audience is really focused on. So by leveraging email and basically acquiring, new customers that you already have on your list, and getting people that have purchased from you already to buy again is a great way to untap a ton of new revenue to reinvest back into the top of the funnel.
What do you guys primarily use for your email marketing platform?
We're pretty exclusive to Klaviyo or Klaviyo, I can never pronounce it, but that really is our ESP of choice. We've been using them for years. We're a partner of theirs. We're kind of alpha and beta testing a lot of their features before they come out. And we're even recommending and kind of suggesting things that we want, and they're building it for us. So we found a really great fit with them.
Okay. Have you ever used Drip?
Very infrequently. We've used it for like one client in the past. Again, it's like one of those things, like when you become a master of a platform, you really know that platform in or out. It's kind of hard to shy away from. So we've really been teaching our team on Klaviyo. Again, this probably isn't a great example, but like if people are so good at Facebook and Instagram, I'm sure they could do Google, right? But it's not really something that they do as well. So for us, while we do email, we're great at Klaviyo. We understand email, right? So we could use Drip, we could use MailChimp, but our preference really is strongly on Klaviyo.
Yep. No, that makes sense. It's funny you say that because a lot of people in this group are big time into Facebook, but they don't know how to do Google. So I just had to. They're afraid to take that jump because it is a different ball game. So
makes sense. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, really kind of like I've had 2 agencies in the past, and the thing that I've done differently with this agency, which has been really great for us as a business and also for our clients, is specializing, right? So in agencies in the past, I offered every service under the sun, and we did well, but I felt like every time I walked away from a conversation like this or with a prospect or with a friend or family, no one really understood what I did, right? By telling people I did everything, they really in their minds heard I did nothing, right? The whole jack of all trades, master of none thing. We're now kind of being very conscious and focusing just on email marketing for e-commerce. It's allowed us to be the experts. And when we walk away from this conversation, Justin, you're going to remember me as Chase, the e-commerce email guy, right? So the next time that you have someone on your mind that needs email, you're more likely going to think of me. If I told you I did everything, you're going to forget about me. So that's been our effort and focusing. So I get it when people focus on Instagram and Facebook and want to become the best. Like, it's such a beast of a platform. You might as well focus in and be the best versus kind of good.
Yep. No, that makes sense. Do you guys mainly do most of your clients, are they on Shopify, or do you have, what kind of platforms are you guys dealing with on the back end?
Yeah, of the 30 clients, I would say 27 of them are Shopify, and the remaining few are like, Magento, WordPress, and WooCommerce. That's kind of like the 2 or 3 others. But Shopify is personally our preference. But yeah, that's just us.
How's the integration with Magento for Klaviyo?
Magento and WordPress and WooCommerce, they do integrate. It's just not as seamless. So for one example, like if you're using Shopify and Klaviyo, you could add custom snippets to your store fairly easily that enable you to do a browse abandonment flow and an abandoned cart flow. Or on Magento or WordPress or something else, you could do those, but they're a lot more technical. Like you would actually have to hire like a developer and build something fairly custom. Or with Shopify, you literally just grab a snippet of code, you load it into one of your product liquid, theme templates, and it's easy, right? So Shopify, for that reason, really is great. It makes it so much easier.
Yep, for sure. Magento is a nightmare. I can about imagine what time development that goes into integrate that and cost for a developer to do that. Do you have any idea?
No, I don't. But I mean, a lot of the clients that we work with are older clients, right? They're older in terms of them as people and older as them as like they've been around for so long and they're just so afraid of change, right? A lot more of the Shopify brands are brands that have been around for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, where I've noticed like a lot of our legacy clients, and they've been in business since the 90s, right? Or early 2000s. So I don't know how much they're currently spending, but I got to imagine like the amount of money they spent, especially starting back then, was probably cost them a fortune.
Yeah, I can about imagine. So makes sense. I've had a couple clients that have been on Magento that have almost gone bankrupt from a switch, just from going to Magento. Revenue just took a complete dive. 10, 15 developers hired. Nobody could figure it out. So ended up having to switch them to Shopify to basically save their business after like a 6-month steady, steep decline. So it's definitely it's a beast in itself. That's for sure.
It's a nightmare. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the reason why we're here, going a little bit into some email marketing strategy. What is kind of obviously there's a lot of email marketing companies out there. AdLeaks has one that, we partner with, which I'm sure you're aware of, because they're in all of our groups. But what differs you from the average email? I mean, there's a lot of digital marketing agencies. There's a lot of email marketing agencies. What really sets an email marketing agency apart in your mind, to really, say we're really, really different than your average person?
Yeah, I think a couple things, right? Like my whole career's been email focused, right? I think a lot of people came from a different background and are like, oh, email's great. It's not as competitive as a landscape as paid acquisition, right? There's so many paid Facebook and Instagram agencies out there, right? It's such a sexy thing. I think email, while there obviously are, a handful of really solid companies, it's a lot less open, right? There's a lot less crowded in the space. So for someone that's been in email, like I have, I've touched all aspects of email. So to kind of go into that deeper, the first part of my career was I did cold email. So I was sending millions and millions and, probably sent 10, 20 million cold emails in my career with an average open rate of 50 to 60%. People aren't even getting that on their opt-in list, right? And I found a way to do that with cold email on the B2C side. So my background really is scaling B2C communities through cold email. So I built an email travel series. I built an email travel series called The Discover, and I grew that from 0 to 500,000 email subscribers in 10 months, largely on the back of cold email. So I think really where I come from is like using email on an acquisition perspective, and also using it from a community's perspective, right? What do customers want to hear? They don't want to see a product promotion every single time they get an email, right? You have to really mix up the content. And for us, there's about 9 different buckets of content that we send for campaigns. That's everything from like current events. So one of our clients just did about $40,000 in 24 hours by having a Super Bowl apparel kind of built out, right? So they had print on demand. They had designs for the Chiefs. They had designs for the Niners. We had everything queued up. As soon as the Chiefs won, we sent that email out to the list. And that did about $40,000, in 24 hours, right? So that was a really great thing that not a lot of companies take advantage of. I think I saw one other company in my inbox did that, and it was Dick's Sporting Goods. And I'm on thousands and thousands of lists. So I think coming from the perspective of like community and content and education, we're doing things in a different way than a lot of other people. Other people are just bashing and blasting their list with promos. And yeah, that works to an extent, right? There's a lot of list fatigue that happens with that. So long-winded, what I'm trying to say is like, I think my background and obsession with email, and that's all I ever know. I've never run an ad. I don't do SEO. I don't do influencers, right? I'm never going to do those things. So I think that obsession, really kind of connecting with business owners and understanding like who they are, what their goals are, and other aspects of their business that tie into email is really important. And we treat clients as if they're our own companies. And again, I know a lot of people say that, but I really mean that very genuinely and authentically.
Sure.
That we've really been kind of mindful about our growth. So we work with 30 clients. We've been in business for 2 years. We probably could be working with 50 or 100 clients right now. But we're very conscious in how we scale the business, because as you bring on a bunch of new people, right, the quality typically, sacrifices. Or for us, like we've spent extensive amount of time with the people on our team, training them and holding their hand. And then the last thing I think I'd mention is, as I said this before, is like we're in cahoots kind of in a partnership with Klaviyo, where we're the first company that's partnering and testing different software and different things. And we're also getting a lot of the ideas that we have built, and other agencies aren't coming up with those ideas and things, so they don't even know they exist. I think those are a few of the reasons why like we're different and why we're doing really well.
Do you guys do a lot of? Are you doing a lot of cold email acquisition?
So less of that today. The reason being is like as I scale my business, that's something that I'm so good at personally, but it's a really hard skill and a really hard thing to teach. So a lot more of our stuff today is really on like opt-in kind of traditional e-commerce email marketing. So for example, Justin, if you have a brand and you sell skincare and you have 100,000 people on your list, we will help you engage and nurture and convert those people on your list. And we will get those people on your list to also share it with their friends, right? Inherently, if you have a good product, word of mouth is already happening. But we run things like an ambassador program and a referral program that gets you incentivized to even share more, right? So if you're already starting to tell 1 or 2 people, we're going to try to get you to start sharing with 5 or 10. So we don't do as much cold email today. We do cold email for our own communities and our own kind of B2B client acquisition, not as much on the consumer side.
Yep, sure, that makes sense. What strategies do you got? Like, let's talk strategy and let's talk like actual growth, right? So a lot of people run Facebook ads or running Google ads. They have the average pop-up on their website that pops up.
Yep.
They're building their list just through actual traffic to their website, but they're not focusing primarily on the front end of email opt-in, getting them into your email flows, building out your flows properly to actually move the customer down some type of funnel to the path of conversion to really start building that LTV. So what are you guys doing in terms of strategy on the front end that you would say your average agency isn't doing? Walk us a little bit about how you're collecting emails, how you're tying that into traffic, what your flows look like, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone's doing the average like pop up, right? Enter 10% off.
Yep.
A lot of people with email, especially like on pop-ups and automation, in their mind, it's set it and forget it. And that's, I think, the biggest mistake, right? Do you always have to be testing the pop-ups, the flyouts, the embedded subscription things on blog posts at the bottom of your site? I think a lot of people set it up once and don't ever pay attention to it. So for us, we're pretty active. Like, for Valentine's Day coming up, we're having a Valentine's Day pop-up, right? Like we're very playing to the season and the trends, and as things happen, right? Like if in a slow season, we might incentivize people more on the front end where, during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we might not do any discounts, but during the time right now where it's a little bit slower, we might be kind of leaning in with a heavier discount, right? So just being very aware to the seasonality of a business, kind of to the seasonality and trends of consumer purchasing behavior. So we do a lot of testing with forms on an ongoing basis. It's a monthly thing. It's always happening. So I think that's one. We're also leveraging forms in, I think, a pretty unique and interesting way. So when you're on Klaviyo, they have predictive analytics that they claim can tell you when someone's expected to order within the next 2 weeks. So we're actually creating out specific segments within Klaviyo and showing pop-ups to that audience that's likely to purchase in the next 2 weeks. So the next time, Justin, you come to our site, if you're in that group, you're going to see a pop-up that no one else outside that segment is going to see. It's going to say, Justin, welcome back. Here's 15% off on your next order. This code's only valid for 24 hours, right? And no companies are doing that. We see websites as real estate, and you have to use pop-ups as billboards, right? So we're communicating with different groups. So for example, if you purchase from us, Justin, today, the next time you come to our site, if it's in the next 1 week, we'll have a pop-up that literally just says, hey, thank you for your recent purchase. It means the world to us, right? You never see those, right? You've never seen that in your life. So those are things that we're doing that I think are very differentiated because other people don't think like that, right? And the reason that we think about that is like we've done a lot of stuff in the past, like with push notifications. So we know, that really works. So that's, I think, the first question you asked around like the traffic kind of acquisition. The next piece you asked about is kind of like the funnel and the flow. So again, obviously, if someone enters their email into a pop-up or a form, that triggers them then into a welcome flow. So they'll typically get about 4 to 5 emails over the course of the first, 1 to 2 weeks. That's really about educating them and nurturing them on your brand, who you are, why you're different, kind of how it is that you're doing it, what matters. Any social proof. We've got 1,000 5-star reviews. We've been featured on Esquire magazine, CNN. These are the influencers and celebrities that we partner with, right? So it's really about building that trust to be able to ask for that sale. So that's really the first step that we do. And again, at any step in the way, if someone converts from one of those emails, they'll then get booted out of the welcome for non-converters into the kind of the post-purchase, thank you for your purchase, Justin. This is more info about the product. This is how you use it. And teaching people about that, right? So I know you mentioned CBD earlier. We do work with a lot of CBD companies. One thing that we do post-purchase is teach people how to use the product. That's for a couple of reasons. One, and make sure that the product works, right? If people are consuming this daily, that's how they're going to get the most benefit from it. Two, if they're using it daily, that will then set up a replenishment flow that we build, 25 days later, because we know that you're going to consume that 30-day subscription within a short amount of time, right? So 25 days out, we can say, hey, Justin, if you followed our directions of consuming this daily, you've probably got about 5 days left of this. Make sure you reorder this product so that way you don't run out. The importance of this is consistency. So there's a lot of flows that we do. The other thing is I think a lot of agencies and companies only build the core flows because they don't know that there's more. There's 9 core flows that we build, and then there's another 9 more that we build that are more advanced.
Before we get into that, I have one comment and question on what you said earlier, which I think is actually pretty fucking amazing, and I'm surprised that I never thought about it, and I'm disappointed in myself. And so I just logged into my Klaviyo, and I'm kind of looking at one of our main pop-ups, and within there, kind of like what you said, is how you're showing different pop-ups to different segments. I think that's pretty genius, to be honest. So when I come into that pop-up, I see where you can actually do that, where you just choose a list or segment.
Yes, under the behavior.
And I assume, and I've never done this before, so this is more of a question for you. Can you use the variable placeholders in your pop-ups like you use in your emails, like bracket, hey, first name, bracket, and it will actually say their name in the pop-up as well, I would assume? Only if you have an existing profile, which you're showing to a segment. So in theory, that should work, or does that not work?
No, unfortunately, that's a big miss. So that's actually something that we've been testing these pop-ups kind of like we're talking about right now over the past 6 to 8 weeks. And that's been a request to Klaviyo. It's we need to be able to leverage dynamic fields in a pop-up because, dude, that will take the conversion and the performance of a pop-up from, 5% to 10%, right? That's going to inherently, at least double potentially because it's going to feel very personal. So that's something that they said that they're now working on for us. And again, that's one of the things that since we're one of the few people that have done that, I can't say we're the only person doing it, but I got to assume we're one of the few. That's a feature that we're going to know about first, and we're going to be able to tackle first. And again, our whole thing is if we could do these things first that people don't know about before everyone does it, that's where we win. Another thing that we're focused on for this year that we're in the very early stages of testing is AMP technology for email. So are you familiar with kind of accelerated mobile pages?
Yep.
So AMP technology is now available with Klaviyo, and we're going to be one of the first people to actually roll that out. I haven't seen anyone doing it, and that's going to allow emails to be a lot more interactive and engaging. So that's something I'm really excited about as well. So long story short, at the end of the day, we're focused on going above and beyond, where I think a lot of other agencies are focused on doing enough. We're obsessed with doing that next step that no one else is doing. And that's really why we've had great retention. We've had clients that have worked with us since day one, right? A lot of our clients have been with us for almost 2 years. And I don't think they're ever going to leave us because we're always innovating. We're never content. We're never happy with where we're at.
Okay. Quick. So another side note on pop-ups. Are you guys using slide outs? Are you using pop-ups? What are you guys using in terms of the type of form for Klaviyo?
We use 3 forms. So the most popular is the pop-up, right? Everyone does that. Everyone knows that. We're also using flyouts, which again, it just does exactly that. So if you're looking at the bottom right hand of your screen, that will literally just kind of pop out and kind of fly out in a very unobtrusive way. So we'll do things like that. And
check out the web URL. I don't want to say it on here because I have something with the client, but check out the URL I just sent you in Messenger and look at that. That's a Klaviyo pop-up. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I'm going to check right now. And while I'm checking it, the last thing that we do is we do embedded subscription forms. So typically people have that placed at the bottom of their website. Other times they'll have that embedded into an actual blog post itself. Sorry, I'm just going to check right now. Let's see. I won't name the name, but let's see.
It's basically like a full width, modified it in the CSS of Shopify. So it's like a full width, full length banner on the bottom, like 30, 40 pixels high.
I'm waiting for the pop-up, but this site's really clean, man. I love it. Okay, yeah, I see it. Like, yeah, that's a really cool, right? It's very clean. It's not, intrusive. Like I like that a lot. I haven't actually seen anything
It's
specific.
not, you have to like modify the code to actually be able to do it. But instead of being like a traditional square, they basically take it, and it's about this tall on your screen and it's spread across the width of the screen.
Yeah, and it's clean, and like as you scroll, right, it stays there, but it doesn't block anything. So yeah, I think this is awesome, man. This is sick.
Actually, because pop-ups are essentially, in theory, borderline against Facebook's terms of service. So many people don't know that, but I've actually had 2 accounts go down for it. I don't think they police it very hard, but they can always use it as a reason. So we avoid using any type of pop-up and only stick with flyout.
To be honest, that's not actually ever something I knew or heard. I've probably worked with 50 brands or 100 brands, on the email side. I've actually never ever heard that. So that's super interesting.
Yeah, and it kind of it's gray. Like in theory, if it's like they don't, obviously it's with Facebook's terms of service, they don't give you the full picture, but anything that's like somewhat determined entrapment, where they actually have to click out or close, and you can't just, So we've actually had, I think about a year and a half ago, I had 2 accounts go down for it.
Wow.
Which was verified by the policy team, and it was like just a local furniture store was one. So I mean, it was nothing crazy, but they can use it. And after that, we just switched to basically the full width, slide out like that. So
yeah, it looks great, and you're compliant, so even better.
Yeah. Let's talk about the flows now. So, I think the average person, like what you're saying, uses, your added cart flow, your product view flow. And, I think Nicholas Harvey was saying, well, everybody does that. Yes, but I think in terms, like, I would say we use the traditional flows, but we also modify them. So we use like a 3 email abandoned cart series flow, maybe even mixed in with a one-time like a new purchase gets a different discount versus, so you'd have 2 different branches of that. The never purchase would get 3 emails, then has purchases get 3 emails. You would give a bigger discount, tiering it out as you go down the 3 email for the never purchase versus an existing customer, because it's harder to acquire a new customer. So talk to us a little bit about traditional flows and kind of what you're doing that you think other people aren't doing, and then how you guys are modifying those flows to really stand out, I guess.
Yeah, so again, there's kind of 9 core flows that we build. And again, you mentioned a number of them. So it's like the welcome series for non-buyers, it's the abandoned checkout, it's the abandoned cart, the browse abandonment, the customer thank you, customer win back, kind of a cross-sell / upsell, a product review request, and like a sunset unengaged subscriber flow. So those are all like fairly basic, and we're just really always testing, right? We're always testing the subject line. We're always testing the content. We're always testing the offers, right? So there's a lot of advanced things that we do in terms of like the testing. So those are all fairly basic. I'd actually rather tell you a little bit more about some more advanced flows, because I feel like those other flows, people could do and are doing. But some of the advanced flows that we do, kind of along the lines of what I mentioned before, we have this thing called the welcome back flow. So if we have someone that's unengaged on our list, we'll drop them some ads on Facebook and Instagram. Again, we don't do that, but whoever the top of the funnel team is, we'll show them ads. And our whole goal is like, these people were engaged at least once. We don't want to send them too many emails, because by them not engaging, that actually hurts us more than it helps us. So we'll say 10,000 people that we're showing ads to that were on our list previously. When those people again come to our website, we'll almost make them re-opt in, like, hey, well, here's a welcome back offer, 15% off, enter your email here. And then they almost go through kind of like a tweaked welcome series where it's like a welcome back flow. The whole goal there is they know they've been through the welcome flow, they've bought from us before. This is all about driving conversion. So that's kind of a cool thing that we do that's a little bit more advanced, I'd say, than most people are doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Another thing that we're doing is kind of this thing around like product category interest tagging and kind of collecting people's info based off products that they've either purchased from or products that they've expressed interest in. So again, like if we have, let's say, a toothbrush company and they sell toothpaste, a toothbrush, and chargers or accessories, right? if people have purchased from one category, we're automatically tagging their profile with that category. So either we could send them more content related to that category, whether that's education or upsells or whatever. Or B, we could kind of say, hey, now that you have our toothpaste, but you don't have our toothbrush, why not do the two together? It's more advanced, like cross-sell / upsell. We're also leveraging kind of gender-specific flows. So in like a welcome email or in a campaign, we'll actually create tagging links that if you click like, hey, shop men, shop women's, we'll tag you as, oh, Justin's interested in shopping for men's. Again, like Justin, I saw you have a ring. So you might also say you might be shopping for your wife. So that might give us sometimes a false data. But we'll combine that with Klaviyo's predictive analytics, where they're able to see if you're likely a male, likely a female, or they're unsure. So we kind of have two things to kind of in place. And instead of just saying like, hey, Justin, you clicked women's, but you're a guy, like buy only for your wife, we'll show you all the stuff for your wife first. But we'll also at the very bottom have like, hey, in case you were looking for something for men's, here it is. Just so that way you're not completely turned off for the email. So we do some stuff like that. That's also really cool. And we've noticed conversion increase when you're speaking specifically to a gender and you're showing them the products that they care about first versus having it scattered.
Sure, that makes sense. Are you guys utilizing SMS with Klaviyo?
So we haven't been using SMS on Klaviyo. It's been a little bit more expensive than we wanted. We are using some other platforms for SMS, and it's something that we are starting to offer. We've only done it for 2 or 3 clients, and we've had some success so far. But we're still pretty early, where it's not a service that we're offering to everyone. Our whole thing is like we want to be the best at what we do, or we're not going to offer it. 2 or 3 clients ask us for a favor of helping them run it, so we've kind of been toying around with it for the past few weeks, few months. It's probably something we will add, later this year. But again, I really want to make sure that we are the best at this before we offer it. But Klaviyo adding SMS is going to be huge. I think they charge you 7 cents per text being sent to recipient, which to me sounded very expensive.
That's crazy. It's crazy expensive. We're working on a deal right now for Emotive, which is a text messaging platform. I don't know if you've heard of them or not. I think it's like for the one brand that we have utilizing it, and the deal should hopefully be hitting next week. Christy, if you're watching this, follow up with them again. But basically, it's like $300 a month flat fee, and then 1 cent for every text, which I mean is a fraction of the cost of what Klaviyo is charging.
Yeah, so that's
it's unlimited. So I mean, unlimited.
That's huge. Yeah, I mean, I really would love to use Klaviyo, right? Because I really see the benefits of being able to send. Let's say you send 2 abandoned cart emails and you follow up with a text in that same flow if someone hasn't purchased. Like, again, you could use some of those things in other platforms, but the fact that it's directly in Klaviyo, the integration and the syncing, it's just going to be a lot better. It's just hard for me to fathom the fact that people would have to pay 7 cents. And that's not just for an MMS. That's not for that's SMS, right? Like, I think they're both the same price, which just doesn't make sense either.
Do they have that public, like their pricing?
I'm not sure. Again, like when we started working with them, like we were part of like the beta offering for it, and they rolled us out the pricing. And we're like, oh man, like we don't even want to dive into this. It's so expensive. So I'm hoping that they're going to lower it. But the last time I checked,
just looking on their website and seeing if they have anything about pricing on it. Yeah, right here, SMS. Let's say if you do, I don't know, let's do 10,000. Calculate $700. So that would be. I failed a basic algebra twice, people. So, 696.
Yeah, so 10,000 times 0.07 is $700.
Yep. So it is. Yeah, it's 7 cents. Is that? I wonder. Is that worldwide or is that just like U.S.?
I believe they're still only supporting the US. I think they're starting to open up certain other countries, but obviously every country has different rules around like texting. So there's a lot of hoops and ladders they have to jump through. So I believe it's only available for US customers, and I believe you can only send to US numbers, but I'm not positive since I haven't checked on it over the past few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't heard of anybody really using it yet though. I know like Kronos, our AdLeaks partner for email, they use it, or they were in the beta testing as well. But I don't know if Josh is actually using it for clients, or if he was just part of the beta testing or not. So
got it. Yeah, I haven't heard of Kronos, but we were part of the beta test as well, and it just didn't make sense to try.
Okay, well, Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't use it. Not for that price.
No.
So one thing that's been coming up with Klaviyo a lot, and I've heard from a lot of people, is deliverability issues, specifically around two things. One, dedicated IP versus shared IP, but also the simple fact that with Klaviyo you're not setting up, and I'm not an expert in this,
Yeah.
SPF, DKIM, and like DMARC and all that kind of stuff. Why doesn't Klaviyo do that?
That's a great question. I'm not entirely sure why they don't do that. I haven't had truthfully too many deliverability issues with clients. A lot of the things that you could do, again, obviously those are best practices and those are things that you probably should do. But even if you don't do certain things like that, like you really have to be a great sender, right? You have to be very, strict with who you're sending to. A lot of clients, I think, in their mind have this disconnect between, oh, I'm going to make way more money and do way better if I hit everyone versus, hey guys, we're really focused on sustainability and longevity. We have to really be strict on only hitting people that are engaged. And that is probably one of the biggest battles with clients, is the fact that like they just want to hit everyone on their list because they paid for those subscribers on their email platform, and they also paid to acquire them. So we're very, very strict in cleaning the list every other month. Like if people have received 20 or 30 emails from you and they've never opened, the chances of them ever opening are pretty slim. And it does more harm to send to those people ongoing than it does, if you didn't send to them, right? So we're always cleaning those lists. So I really think like for the clients that we work with, by following the best practices, we personally haven't had issues. Clients are hitting on the automation side 50, 60, 70% open rates. And on the campaign side, they're hitting 20, 25, 30, 35% open rates. So again, obviously like inherently sending through a platform like Klaviyo, it doesn't matter which ESP, you're going to get a lot lower open rates than you would if you were sending an email to a friend. Again, and like the way that I did cold email mimic sending an email to a friend, and that's how I was able to get such high open rates. So inherently, you're going to have lower open rates on ESPs in general. But to answer your question, I'm not sure why they don't require that. I think people probably should do that. I think it's a great practice. But just know that by doing other things in addition to that, like, are really important as well.
What is your average open rate and click-through rates for email, like on a monthly basis then?
So again, like it's not uncommon for our clients to hit 50% open rates on automated email. So, the welcome flows, the abandoned cards, things like that. Thank you. Like they're all, 50% or higher most of the time. On the campaign side, it really just depends, but we're pretty meticulous in A/B testing. So some clients are hitting 15% probably on the low end. Clients are probably hitting like 35% on the high end. And most I'd probably say are hitting about a 25% open rate on campaigns. And clients have like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of people, right? So it's a pretty significant number. Hey, by the way, my computer is about to die. Do you mind if I run and grab a charger?
Go ahead. No,
cool.
Go ahead. They'll love looking at my sweet face. I'm gonna win the beard contest too, by the way. I should be definitely winning. Mine's well kept, well kempt. Alex still in here. He fell asleep.
All right, sorry about that.
Mine was actually going to die too, and I had to have my wife bring mine down.
Awesome. We're good now. I had 2% left, so that was close.
Sweet. If you guys have any questions about anything, drop them down below in the comments. So the other thing I want to talk about a little bit is about CBD shifting. Unless somebody has questions about the email or SMS or anything like that, feel free to drop questions in. On the CBD side, obviously it's borderline gray to run any traffic. So where and how are you guys building email lists for CBD? And talk to us a little bit about that, because I would assume that that's got to be a lot tougher than your traditional e-com client.
Yeah, it's tough, and honestly, a lot of reasons that we don't take on clients is because they don't have enough traffic. We do have a couple people that we work with that have been able to get CBD ads live, and kind of like they're stable, right? It's not like they get them up live and they're down the next day and they're playing this kind of constant cat and mouse thing. So we have found some partners that have figured out ways to kind of, figure it out. again, I'm not an ads guy, so I have no idea what they do. It's a bit in over my head. So we're either finding companies that have really great SEO and are driving a lot of traffic themselves and collecting a lot of leads. They just don't understand email, or we're finding partners that do run traffic and we work with them. But yeah, it's hard. Most brands that come to us, it's like we'd love to work with them. They want to work with us. They just can't get traffic, and therefore we can't make money with a list of 0.
Yeah, we had like a new CBD startup come to us about a week ago and literally have nothing, and they're going to just start doing native and they want to do email marketing. And it's like, you guys have nobody on your list.
Yeah.
Like, sure, if you want to pay us to do nothing, but I know CBD and I don't know if we do actually have an expert in CBD in the group. It's basically the big thing is, are the products that are running on the ads that you know of, are they ingestible or are they topical?
They're mixed. I know topical is a lot more kind of lenient and compliant, for lack of a better word. I know ingestible, they're still very strict on. I would say it's kind of a mix. Some clients have just topicals, other clients have just ingestibles, and a lot have both. And when I say we work with a lot of CBD brands, like we're working with like 7 CBD/cannabis brands right now. So it's not like we work with tons, but we definitely work with enough. Some are like public companies out of Canada. Others are like venture-backed or fast-growing brands. And a lot of them had enough traffic where it made sense for us to get started. And then we started working with them, like with referral programs and other things to drive more. So yeah, it's a hard space. I think the people that are winning are going to continue to win are the ones that are able to figure it out now.
Mm-hmm. For the Chive, I see on your website it says you work with Chive. Didn't they go out of business or something?
What was that?
Didn't the Chive like go under? I thought I read an article about that, or am I imagining?
No, they're strong. I mean, they had an opportunity a couple of years back to actually sell the business for like $100 or $200 million that they said no to. But no, like they're strong. They're great. They've been a client of mine since October of 2018, and I love working with them. They have a fanatic audience. Like people are so passionate about them and what they do that like they sell teas that like I don't think anyone else could sell. It's like I'm shocked that like all the stuff that we do on email is working as well as it is. I mean, it's insane. I think for them, 28% of their revenue comes from email,
Really?
and they have a pretty big list. So they're a strong client. I really like them.
What is their main like topics of their email? Like, are they selling or informational, and then just mix in like selling from their store?
With them on the campaign side, a lot of it's just like kind of clever graphics and clever product sites that are pushing sales, and they do a pretty good job with that, right? They've got so many people that want to buy everything they come out with, and they leverage print on demand, right? So they're able to pump out designs daily. Like they don't send every day; they send pretty frequently. And then on the flow side, I think we probably have like 25 or 30 flows built out for them, and a lot more of that's like education. But that being said, like with brands like that are selling $20, $30 t-shirts, it's pretty straightforward, right? You're either going to buy it or you aren't. Like there's not really a ton of education on like, oh, our fabric's so great. So they make my job easy. I like clients with them, like them to make my job easy. Like,
yeah, I come here on the store and they got a big old woman with their boobs out with a G-string. Like it makes you want to buy a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
I mean, they have a Farley Foley tee, the one from Saturday Night Live. Do you know anything about that when you like start putting like Bill Murray on t-shirts? Like obviously they have to have some type of agreement with.
Yes. Yeah. They have a really strong partnership with Bill Murray. They do like a golf tournament every year together. I think they donate a lot to Bill's charities. So they have a really strong partnership with Bill. So they also have one with like Busch, like the beer. They have a partnership with them. So because people love that company, because they have so many subscribers, they get huge brands, right? To get Bill Murray and Busch, like that's a huge deal. And that's a huge part of them is like they're able to print these things that other people can't, and it's so perfect for their audience. Like whatever they are doing, they need to keep doing it because it works. They've got a great formula.
I wouldn't. I couldn't see wearing these shirts in public. Some of them.
I've never actually seen someone wear it in public, and I cannot ever imagine it either. I think my wife would kill me. But somehow people do. I don't know where they are, who they are, or what they do for a living, but it's working.
There's there's one on here, Rick Moranis in the Dark Helmet. I can't remember the name of that movie. It's funnier than hell movie. What is it? Spaceballs. You ever seen that?
Which one was it?
Spaceballs.
Oh man,
Old movie.
as a kid, I cannot remember from life of me, but as a kid, I for sure watched that.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Huh, that's pretty interesting that they're able to spin kind of that whole meme thing into kind of a revenue driver.
It's crazy. Yeah, I can't give away their revenue, but like really healthy e-commerce business, very strong business. Yeah, and it grows. It's growing month over month, and they've been around for a while, so it's really cool.
Yeah. Huh. Let me see if there's any questions. I haven't looked. Any questions? No questions.
Yeah,
you guys have any questions? We got a couple more minutes. We'll squeeze them in, but I don't want to hold you too long. So
I wish I was more exciting. I wish people had questions.
Well, there's a lot of information, and to be honest, I think our group is not humongous in the email space. So, and this is only going to one subset of our group. So what I'll do after this is I will take this video and I'll post it in the other groups.
Awesome.
Like especially in the ad buyers group, and then I'll tag you in it and
awesome.
can kind of see what comes about from there. So
awesome. And happy to share my email with you now or then, so that way if people have questions that they don't want to ask on Facebook, again, I'm happy to answer any questions.
We'll give it a couple more minutes, see if anything else that you think we missed that's kind of groundbreaking on the email side that you think you guys are doing that's not really leveraged by companies.
The pop-up forms is really cool. Creating tagging links in emails is, I think, really cool to be able to send. So for example, like with the Chive, like their header link has men's, women's, kids, and sale. And anytime someone clicks one of those headers, we then drop them into a flow where we say, hey, Justin, saw that you were interested in our men's clothing. Here are top 6 hot sellers under $20.
Is that a piece of code, or are you just doing that by like segments and saying if somebody visits this URL?
Kind of a hybrid. So it's basically a custom link that allows you to automatically update someone's property. So like there's like a structure where it's like auto add link to profile and then fill in these things. So I could send you that after, but it's basically like a link that you add within the email. So just like you would hyperlink the header for men's, like the /men's, it would have a link right before it that tells Klaviyo to add that click to someone's property. So it's all happening automatically. And then we'll drop you into this flow, and this flow, like the engagement's insane, like 40-50% open rates and like 20% click-throughs. And it has like 1 to 3% place to order rates on that. So I think that's also really cool.
Are you guys doing anything with any crazy integrations at all, or not really?
Crazy integrations, not that I can think of. One thing that we're starting to do, and we're kind of on the beginning of this, is like there's this app called like Drop a Hint. It's pretty expensive. So we're actually going to start building that ourselves and kind of hacking it together. Where essentially, Justin, if you go on the Chive and you see a shirt that you like, you could enter your wife's email and some info that says like, hey, Justin's really interested in this shirt. So we're going to start doing some stuff around that, around building some of those things, just because some of the apps right now are so expensive. Like it charges you like, let's say $50, and anytime someone drops a hint, it's like 50 cents per hint, right? So if you have 1,000 people doing that a month and they're not sure what it does, like you could spend a lot of money on it. So that's kind of something cool that we're testing right now.
So here's an article I'm looking at on the Chive. I just want to like kind of reverse engineer this. They must have a lot of like affiliate. So there's this article. It says, get back in the game with these sweaty sports bras. And it's like 36 photos of women in sports bras. And then like the very first paragraph talks about, it's like a supplement for green lumber, which must be a boner supplement.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that they must also have like a lot of affiliate partnerships that they're leveraging sales of for like their traffic.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of their, again, without giving away too many secrets, a lot of their traffic, comes from the Chive, right? The Chive gets 10, 15, 20 million unique visits a month. So you get a lot of traffic from that. The Chive newsletter always has it in their daily newsletter. They have a product that they recommend on the Chivery. So a lot comes from that. They did a substantial amount of revenue through affiliates in the past. I don't remember if they used like share sale or something like that, but they drove like really, really strong revenue from affiliates. And then obviously, right, they have a lot of social following. They have a bunch of Instagrams. I don't know. They do a lot of things. They spend a lot of money on top of funnel, paid acquisition. They're working on SEO. So they have a really strong business where there's so much diversification of traffic that it just works.
Sure. Interesting. Cool. Let's see if there's anything came in. Boy, you got it easy. No questions today.
Yeah.
Alex always has questions. So, well, man, I appreciate the time. I will probably post these tonight or tomorrow in ad buyers, and then I'll go ahead and tag you just for if anybody has any questions.
Really appreciate it.
So, yeah, I really like some of the strategies and ideas, especially the multi pop-up with segments. I'm definitely going to put that into good use. So, good info.
Yeah, of course. And if anyone wants to reach me, if they want to just send me an email, my email is chase@boundlesslabs.io. Happy to answer anyone's questions if no one feels comfortable asking on Facebook.
Yeah, man. I appreciate the time.
Cool. Hey, have a great rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend, man.
You too. Thanks, bro.
Cheers. All right. Bye.